So guys, evaluation basically, it means that when you evaluate your answer, there are usually 8 mark answers in O levels, 12 mark answers in your AS, and 13 mark answers in your A2, right? And these are discuss questions. So when a discussion involves, giving two sides of an argument. On one hand, you're supporting a point, on the other hand, you are disagreeing to it and you're going against it. But when you evaluate, so evaluation basically involves a normative process where you are somehow saying that on one hand you agree with this also, but on the other hand you can't just make a blanket statement supporting that, because there are other sides as well that you need to consider, right? So for example, on one hand you are saying that monopolies are bad because they indulge into artificial barriers to entry and exploitative practices. But on the same other hand, there are certain aspects of monopoly that, if implemented, are really in the favor of public interest and this increase welfare. So this is evaluation, right? And then evaluation also includes a conclusion where you're making a reasonable conclusion, in the sense that so I personally believe that whenever students are evaluating their answers and giving out conclusions, they should never make or take one stand in their answer. Like, they shouldn't be saying monopolies are always bad, or I think that monopolies are bad, because obviously if you're saying this, then your answer should support your conclusion. And I think that students in most cases lack that awareness of giving enough reasons that it actually supports the conclusion and proves the conclusion right to the examiner. So I think a better approach would be to take a more diplomatic view, but the whatever view that you are taking, it shouldn't be vague, right? So a better approach could be that, okay, we agree to the fact that monopolies are harmful, and we also agree that there are certain positive side of the monopoly as well. However, whether the positive exceeds the negatives, or the benefits exceed the positives, or the negatives exceed the positives, that is going to ultimately determine whether monopolies are acting in the public interest or not. And not only that, it also depends upon whether the monopoly is actually acting against the public interest or not. Not only that, it actually depends whether the monopoly is a state monopoly. So for example, if it is a state monopoly, then in that case, monopolies might not act against the public interest, right? So this is what I'm doing, is that I'm evaluating the answer, right? So evaluation basically, so on one hand I was saying it was bad, on the other hand I'm saying it's good, and then in the end I'm saying, there are certain instances where it might be good as well as bad, and then if these instances are present, so it might not be bad, just like I said, if they are state monopolies. So also monopolies, it's not necessary that monopolies are always bad and they're always inefficient, because like we say, whenever we are giving disadvantage of monopolies, we say that they're inefficient, but at the same time, they can also be efficient, because they what they do is that you can write, they reinvest their supernormal profits or abnormal profits that they're earning back into the business, and that helps them indulge into research and development and innovation, and that results into dynamic efficiency, right? So this is how you evaluate the answer, giving a reasonable conclusion towards the end. So, and always speak in a normative language instead of positive language. And whatever I've just explained is for A levels. It was a basic explanation for AS and A2, not for AS level because that's not in AS syllabus, but for A2s. See you.